Alright, so today we're going to go over the wiring for a Pic Station Mini when you're wiring for a DSLR to Surface Pro kiosk. You will see me putting one of every single item that goes inside of the kiosk into our backup kit. Now the backup kit is awesome. I found one that fits perfectly in the column of the Pic Station Mini, so there's no reason to ever be without some of those backup items that everybody finds at the worst possible time that they will need at an event. So these are from Sterilite, and the dimensions are 14" by 11" by 3¼ inch. I do have that in the description of the video if you want to check it out, find the link, or find the best place to purchase it near you. Alright, let's get started. Some of the items that you will need that will make this a nice and easy process: you're going to need zip ties, something to cut the excess of those zip ties. I have some clippers here. Scissors work, tons of things. And then you're going to need two of every item that goes inside of the booth. So your DSLR camera, your power cord for that camera, a hot shoe with a sync cable, the ring light power cord, and if you want to print with your DSLR to Surface booth, you're going to need a 4-port or more USB hub, and also a USB A to male B for your printer. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so got the power strips here. I'm going to put the white one in my backup kit. And then I'm going to secure this black one inside of the Pic Station Mini. If you look at the base of the head unit here, you're going to find two mounting points that your zip ties will easily slide through that then can loop around your power strip. Just try to make sure that you don't cover up any of these ports in case you need them. So my power strip is mounted, and I'm going to cut off the excess now of those zip ties. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So this is my ring light power cord. What I've done is, I give myself a little bit more than an arm's length from the distance from your power brick to the end where you plug it into your ring light. That way you can be able to hold your faceplate while attaching that ring light power cord. So I have then wound up the rest of the cord here and zip tied it around this brick so that it's all in one convenient package instead of loose and hanging throughout the booth. If you look on the side of your head unit, you're going to see little folded flaps with area behind. That is the spot that we have for putting zip ties through and to secure power bricks, just like this ring light power cord that we have. So these are 7" long zip ties, and usually I can use my tiny fingers to get the zip tie looped around the back of that power brick, but it just wasn't working out. So I do have longer zip ties that I'm going to use for this side because that power brick for the ring light is so thick. Alright, these ones are 12" long zip ties, and they're a little bit thicker, so this should make it easier to secure that in there. Alright, so I finally got it secured in there. It does take a little bit of a time to figure out the easiest way for yourself to put it in there. And then after that, I clip it so it's nice and flush so that it won't cut up my hand anytime that I'm reaching in there. For my ring light power cord, my backup is actually going to be my ring light batteries. You never know when you might need them. They come in many different sizes. You want to look at the MAH number on the back. That's going to tell you about how long that battery is going to last. So these are the medium ones, which are 5200 mAh, and these will last for 4 hours for sure, maybe even longer. I'm going to put those right in my backup kit and move on to the camera power cord. Once again, I gave myself enough distance for it to reach the power strip, and I left the cord that goes all the way up to the camera about 1.5 feet long. This gives me enough room to go up through the kiosk and to plug into the camera at the very top without having too much cord just kind of wiggle around in the head unit. Before I install the power cord, I'm going to put the backup right in my kit. Another backup item that I would suggest for your camera power cord would be a charger and a battery for your specific camera. All right, so I've got the power cord set up for my camera. I'm going to be using a flash with my DSLR to surface kiosk. So I've got the flash power cord, and I'll be getting a backup to put in my kit. But let's see the easiest way. My cord is about 3 feet long, so I don't believe I'm going to need to wrap it up in any way. I just need to make sure it's going to reach when I add on my flash mount pole here, which goes right on the top. I'm going to put that in to make sure I've got enough distance. I've got plenty of slack here for my power cord to reach my flash where it will be mounted at the top of the kiosk. I do know that I'm going to be printing with this kiosk. So I've got my 4-port USB hub. This one is by Pluggable. If you only need 2 ports, then you can get a 2-port. I just always like to have the extra ones because you never know when you're going to need one. There are multiple spots that you could put this. You could mount it on this side of this area where you can zip tie and hide your power bricks behind that little fold over metal piece, or you can put it in the top here next to your camera where there's some extra room. Kind of depends on what you want to do with it. So decide where it works best for you, and then that's where I would mount it. If you don't want to try and zip tie it anywhere, I would suggest getting the locking Velcro, the heavy duty version. I do know that it is available at Walmart for about $20 to $25. Stuff is amazing. You can mount anything and it never really falls off, so it's great. So for my kiosk, I decided to plug it in and maintain the USB hub at the top next to the camera. And I hid the excess cord behind this metal flap where you're able to hide your power bricks behind or zip tie them over there. And at the very top of the head unit next to the camera, there is another zip tie mounting spot, so you could even zip tie in and hold that USB hub perfectly so it never moves around. So that's what I'm going to do now. So now I'm going to move on to the camera. Just like everything else, I have a backup lens and a backup camera body that will be going inside of my backup kit. Right now I'm going to be using the T3i by Canon. There are many different cameras that work inside of this booth. Really what I always suggest is check out the software that you'll be using, and they will have recommended cameras or cameras that work with your software. So make sure before you put one in there that it works with your desired software. Next thing is I have a 1/4 screw. It is about a 1/4 inch long, maybe a little bit longer, and that's how I'm going to be mounting my camera. But before you mount the camera, make sure that you put in the battery pack, or else it's not going to work for you. So my camera's mounted, and now I'm going to move on to the hot shoe. So I have a Pixel hot shoe with a sync cord here. I'm going to put one in the backup kit. I'm going to put the other one on my camera. Now at the back of your Pic Station Mini head unit there is an access panel, and that's the easiest way to get to the top of your camera once it's mounted in there. And just like the power cord for the flash, I make sure that my sync cord has more than enough room to reach up to my flash without any tension, because that could cause it to disconnect during your event. Alright, so last cord that we're going to put in is the USB to the camera connection cord, and I'm going to plug this one directly into my 4-port USB hub. If you aren't using a USB hub, you want to make sure it's long enough to reach to your Surface Pro that will be mounted in the faceplate. Quick close change, and we're ready to finish up the wiring of the DSLR to Surface booth. Next thing on the list is the Surface Pro charger. So there's two options. You can mount it inside the head unit of the Pic Station Mini using any of the available mounting spots or hiding it behind. Or what I like to do is on the back of the faceplate, the piece of material that holds in the Surface Pro, I have one of these sticky tabs that I've placed on here that have mounting points for zip ties. You can find the link for these in the description of the video. But this is where I'm going to mount my power cord. And what I like to do is I leave the plug portion all the way loose. That way it's easy to hold the faceplate, plug it in, and get everything lined up. And then I'm going to neatly fold the excess of the power plug that plugs directly into the surface. So it's all around the block, leaving about a foot worth of cord. That's probably even way too much, but it's better to have too much than not enough. All right, so I've got it mounted on the back here, and let's move to the Surface Pro before going on to anything else. So before I put the Surface Pro into the faceplate, I'm gonna grab my USB extenders. Now I have a right angle USB extender. Once again, it just makes it easier to get that to that USB port on the side of your Surface Pro. Don't forget to put one in your backup kit. So I've got the USB extender in. I'm gonna plug in the Surface Pro and then mount it into the faceplate of my Pic Station Mini. And before I secure the faceplate onto the kiosk, I have one final cord to put in there, and that is the printer cord. So I'm going to be able to plug my USB in and plug it in directly to my printer. Now what I have to secure this, because this one, if I do a regular zip tie, I'm going to be cutting at every event. So instead, I have Velcro zip ties, which are great to keep in your backup kit. You never know when you're going to need them. I'm going to take this one Velcro strip, find a zip tie that I used previously to secure a power block, loop it around there, and loop it around the bundle of the printer cord. That way, once I get to my event, I can easily undo this Velcro zip tie and allow the cord to go down my booth and up to my printer. This is a 16-foot long printer cord. That is more than enough space to go down the Pic Station Mini and up the print stand. I'm plugging it in directly to my USB hub now. There we go. So now I'm ready to put my faceplate on. First thing I'm going to do is plug in the USB hub USB to the USB extender. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. And then I'm going to plug in my Surface Pro power cord to the power strip. Final thing is plug in that ring light and tuck in any excess of those cords into the kiosk. And so we are all finished wiring the DSLR to Surface Pro. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, leave a comment, anything like that. Thank you so much.